This is Robert Clotworthy, the narrator of The Curse of Oak Island, and I have a question for you. Could it be that you are listening to The Curse of Oak Island and Beyond live stream?
This is a top pocket find, mate, for sure.
All right, we are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Curse of Oak Island and Beyond. What's happening? Oh. All right, we are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Curse of Oak Island. We got something feeding back here. Hold on a second.
There's a ton of feedback.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Curse of Oak Island.
We got something feeding back here. Oh, my goodness.
There's a ton of feedback.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Curse of Oak Island.
It's coming through your computer, Linda. I got you muted and it stopped.
Oh, of course. Causing trouble.
Yeah, I don't know. It's coming through turn your volume down. Your output. Well, no, you got your mic turned off. Turn your volume down. You're muted right now. So turn your output volume down. Hey everybody, how you doing? we believe it or not, we are here and we are live and
we're not drunk.
Yeah, no, and we're not yet. And so we're going to be talking about the Beyond Oak Island episode number 6, Return to Poverty Island. We got Linda in the co-pilot seat here tonight if she gets her volume figured out, and we have Jess Groleau is going to be here, or is here with us. Mike was going to be here, her husband Mike, but I guess he's kind of tied up tonight, is he not, Jess? He's busy working.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's stuck at work.
Yep. So he cannot be here with us tonight, but Jess is the better half anyway. So we're going to have her help us go through this particular episode.
So he cannot be here with us tonight, but Jess is
We're still getting feedback.
Yeah, it's still coming through, Linda.
I'm just going to have to leave.
No, don't do that.
Yeah, because there's something wrong
What
with
if
my
you log in,
computer.
Linda, and relog in again?
Or just mute until you want to, until you want to say something.
Yeah, do the what he's Dale
Just log
said.
in, log in again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll wait for you.
Yeah, we got stuff to do anyway. You're not going to win I'm going to win anyway. So anyway, all right. Sorry about a little technical snafu here tonight, but we'll get this all figured out. And we also have Sherry back there. Hi, Sherry.
Hi.
Sherry's going to help with the drawing tonight. We're going to do that first. That's why we logged in a little bit early tonight so that we could say hi to everybody. We could do a little bit of the housekeeping stuff, and then we could get started at 7:30. We got a lot to get through. We got all that. What do you got? About 18 drawings you're going to do?
18. I can't be trusted, so I have to get Sherry to do it.
Right.
So there's 18.
Right. So we got 18 different drawings we're going to do tonight. So
it's going to get boring.
Yeah. So, well, not when I win. It won't be boring at all. And I guess Jess actually has. You've got something that you've donated as well, right?
Yes, the glow in the dark tumbler I engraved.
That's awesome.
That's so cool. Make it glow.
All right.
Oh, she's going to too. Ooh, it glows.
It glows blue.
Oh, hi, Linda.
Nope, still doing it.
She's sleeping.
Just mute until you want to say something.
It's still doing it.
I know. Here we go. All right. So what we're going to do is I wanted to say hi to a few people that joined in tonight, and we'll get through these technical difficulties. We'll make it through one way or another tonight. But Jan is out there working in the chat as always. Hi, Jan. And if you haven't already noticed, anytime that Linda types something in the chat, it comes up as with my name on it. I made her an admin, and that I don't think that would be what's causing the issue she's having, but made her an admin tonight, and yet she's having that issue. But that's why when she types, for whatever reason, it comes up and it has my name on it. So anyway, so she can get me into a lot of trouble tonight as we go along. Craig is here with us. Hey, Craig. And let's see who. Anthony Castle's here. Rich Lloyd. Hey, Rich. Jeff's in the house. Oh, my gosh. We got a lot of people here. Jackie. Tom Burns. Hey, Tom.
Miller's Meat Locker.
What's that?
Miller's Meat Locker's here.
Miller's Meat Locker?
Yep.
Robert Westrick is here. Hey, Rob, how you doing? Glad to see you here with us tonight. Thank you for coming by. Indies Antics. Eva's here. Hi, Eva. She's one of the insiders over at Skinwalker Ranch. Kat's here. Hey, Kat. Jan Scorza is here. Oh my gosh, a lot of Wanda. Thank you guys for showing up here tonight. Yeah, Miller's Meat Locker. I haven't been able to watch Oak Island regularly since I gave up cable like 2 years ago. You can get it on the internet. You can do that. The VPN, there's actually instructions in our Facebook group. You're not muted and it seems to be working, Linda.
I'm holding my breath.
You're holding what?
She's holding her breath.
Holding my breath.
Oh, her breath.
Breath.
Easy now. It's a family show.
Never mind, Darlene. Don't hit me.
Oh, we're having fun already tonight. Jess is thinking, why did I get involved with these people? I don't know. I really don't understand. Anyway, okay, so we're going to get rolling here. So, as you know, folks, Dale and his wife, Sherry, have been collecting and doing a fundraiser for Christmas Daddies. It's a really good organization up there that raises money for children at Christmas time, for families that are in need at Christmas time. It's a great thing for Nova Scotia and for the families up there. And we are doing our part to help out. And tonight is the big draw. So he's going to be drawing tonight. And don't forget, coming up on the show here in the next couple of weeks, we have, next week, 1 week from tonight, we have the season premiere of The Curse of Oak Island. So don't forget, Matty Blake is going to be here with us at the beginning of the show. So he's going to be here. He's going to hang out for a little bit and help us kick off the season. So Matty Blake will be with us that's next Wednesday night, 1 week from tonight at 7:30. And then, of course, the Curse of Oak Island is on Tuesday night. Can't wait for that. I have my Discord channels up and running. If you want to come and hang out, we have like a little get together or whatever, and we can actually everybody can watch you have to watch it on your own TV. I'm not allowed to rebroadcast The Curse of Oak Island, but we can sit and talk about it during the commercials. We can talk about it and hang out.
Talk during the show or Jeff will throw you out.
Booted. So anyway, no, we have fun. We've been having fun the last couple of weeks just hanging out in there and talking. There's a voice chat and a text chat. You can hang out in the voice chat and stuff with us and talk while we're during the commercials or whatever. But we're going to be hanging out next Tuesday night for The Curse of Oak Island. I'll probably be in there early during the reruns, and it's going to be a long night of all kinds of stuff happening. So I should be in here for early. So just want to let you know about that. And while you're out here on YouTube, please click the subscribe button. And if you like the content of our show, give us a thumbs up. It really helps out a lot. Mr. Carney, would you like to get started with the draw?
I do. I got one thing to say, though. The minimum donation right now for Christmas Daddies is $20,000.
Wow.
We have the expenses that came out are for the website that cost about, I don't know, $500 or so. And then the shipping of everything. So roughly it's about $20,000 right now minimum. So getting that out there.
That is awesome.
Yeah. So
and if people want to make donations after tonight, they can continue to donate.
They can still go to christmasforthekids.ca. Every cent helps, which is a big thing. So we're just going to add it all in there, and I'll have a grand I can't release a grand total until December 3rd because that's when the show is. So it has to be presented on the show. Right. So that's what we're going to do anyway. But so right now, I can tell you right now, the minimum donation is $20,000 Canadian.
That is awesome. That's
200. That's 200 children that are going to get a full Christmas from because of all you guys out there.
Yep.
So I thank you for that, from me and the kids.
Yep.
Anyway, we'll get to this. So the first item, I got a list. I got to go by the list. First item is going to be this Oak Island ornament.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah. Who made that? Did you make that?
No, these are made in St. Margaret's Bay, up by Peggy's Cove in Nova Scotia.
Those are nice.
They're not like your work.
Those are really nice.
It does look like your work.
Yep. Oh, they do. Whoever did that did a really good job.
They do a nice job. They do all our ornaments. So the lovely Darlene's going to pick a name out. Oh, goes back in. So the winner of this is Linda Loud.
Oh, okay.
Linda Loud is the luckiest lady.
She does win a lot of stuff, doesn't she?
So I got to write these names down. So, all right. So the next item, I'm going to do these quick because Linda told me I got 10 minutes exactly. Under the book and the coconut fiber.
All right.
There's 2 of these, so I'll draw for
Any prize.
draw
I don't
one
care
each.
which prize. I'll take any of them.
So the next one is Barbara Duncan is getting a book.
Ooh, okay.
Cool beans.
Barbara Duncan. All right. He's right.
I don't know if David is on here tonight or not, or Chris Bose, but they co-authored that book.
And the next person that wins the second book is Walter Jonkus.
Jonkus. Jonkus. Jonkus. I don't know.
Someone I don't know.
Yeah, Walter. All right, Walter. Cool.
J-O-N.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that person.
I have a lot of the email addresses, so I will be emailing everybody that won something. So
Cool.
bear with me. The next, we have 2 of these books that were donated by Michelle.
All right.
So we're going to do 2
Those
separate
are
draws.
the best books. They're about Sophia and the Cave-In Pit.
There you go. So the first winner is Barbara Duncan.
Again.
Are you mixing these up?
Oh, yes.
And the next winner is
Linda Simpson.
Yay. You know what, Dale?
Bob.
I have 3 copies of that book. My
Well, are they
grandkids
signed?
have it. I have it. So would you just draw somebody else?
I'll put this back in. Is it signed? John Edwards.
Oh, no.
John
Now,
wins a book.
he's got drawn twice now. Linda's got now. You got to get that name out of there at some point.
Okay. The
I
next
want the hard
item.
hat. I want the hard hat.
The next item is
I'm getting the hard
a
hat.
bunch of stickers from Rock, and then the 2 there's 2 T-shirts with this.
All right.
So it's the 2
Slammy
T-shirts and all the stickers.
Donated by Vanessa Lucido at Rock Equipment Company.
You got her. And this person is Denise Danis.
Denise. All right. Good deal. Congratulations, Denise.
Go Denise.
Next thing is, I don't have it here, is the mug. I'll pretend I
Jess
have
has
it.
it.
There it
That
is.
one?
And
That
the
one.
winner of the glow mug is Anne Marie Limbarowski.
Anne Marie. All right.
Limbrowski.
Limbrowski.
Dombrowski.
Mhm. Hi, Wade. Hi, Henry. Jack. Elliot.
I'll need you'll have to email me the
Oh, yeah. I have your email.
Now, you engraved that yourself?
yes,
That's
I
a
did.
beautiful dungeon mug. So the next thing is a Vanessa picture, which is signed by Vanessa.
With Dave getting ready to push the button.
Yeah, live, love, rock, it says. So this is the next item up.
Well, Walter. Oh, he won something.
Oh, there's Walter. Walter is
Yeah.
here. Hey, Walter. Yep, he's one of the quiet ones, he says.
So the person that won the
Way to go,
Vanessa picture,
Walter.
the one who won the Vanessa pictures, Anthony Melillo? Melillo?
Malio.
Yeah, Anthony. All right. Good job.
Melillo. Oh. All right. So the next thing is going to be the engraved stuff. So these, which are signed. So we're going to start with 10X.
Are we allowed to say who engraved those?
Yeah.
Jess engraves those.
Jess
right
engraved
here.
those.
I found out about
Well-
that just a little bit. Linda was telling me that she does a lot of that engraving stuff for Rick. And it's
Mhm.
kind
That's
of-
how we met.
Yeah.
That's
so
how
this-
you met?
this-
Oh,
I
wow.
answered a phone call. Yep. In fact, the first time he came over, like 2 years ago, I asked him, I said, "What made you call me?" And he goes, "I Googled you and I Googled laser engravers." He said, "You're the only one to answer me."
Wow.
Answer my phone call.
Well, this
There
here,
you
one, this nice 10X is going to Linda.
Linda.
Can I keep it, Linda? I don't have anything.
Did you donate?
But anyway, I don't have nothing. The next one is going to be the swamp. The swamp.
I need a
And Rick
set.
signed the back of these, by the way.
I know, isn't that cool? That is so
The-
awesome.
The swamp is going to Elizabeth Snow.
Elizabeth Snow. All right.
Jess, you do know. Thank you, Mary.
All right, so that's that one. The next one is the island.
That one's a cool one too. I
Which
like
you can
that.
sign the back of. So this is going to Michael James.
Michael James. All right. That's right. I don't want you to pull my name out of there until we get to the hard hat. So then that's, I'm
This
only
one here, I like this one. This is the money pit, but Rick's got like a really nice little note on the back.
hope you find the treasure in your life. Best wishes. Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, so this one here is going to go to, thank you, Darlene.
Linda Simpson.
Make sure you
Wait.
make some more.
Dale, put the 10X one back.
What?
Put the 10X one back.
So we want to redo the 10X one?
Yes, please.
Oh,
Okay, so the 10X one again.
what, honey? You can come sit by me. You gotta be quiet though.
Nicole and Nelson. Nelsa?
Elsa.
There. Okay, you gotta be quiet.
Okay. Next thing up is a deck of cards.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
signed by Gary Drayton. Apparently, there's not that many of these because Rick only had a certain amount made.
Oh, wow.
So these are pretty rare. Hi. Oh, she's so cute.
Say hi.
Hi.
So the deck of cards is going to Judith Delpha.
Delpha.
Yes, Judy Delpha.
All right.
All right.
Here, put your phone
Next up is the Rick signed crew picture.
All right.
Is that Uncle Rick?
Did you see Uncle Rick?
Uncle Rick.
All right. So the crew picture is going to Pam Mertis.
Pam Mertis. All right.
Say,
Okay.
good job, Pam.
Good job, man.
You should keep her as a host.
I know, right?
Okay. Now to get some fun stuff. So the hard hat.
That's me. The hard hat.
Donated
Oh, my
by
name. Draw my name.
Vanessa from Rock, and it's signed by a whole bunch of people.
That's sweet.
And Dan Blankenship before he passed away. Dan.
That's
Alright.
cool.
That makes that worth
So the person that wins the hard hat is Donna Gould.
Oh, man. Donna. All right. Congratulations, Donna. Shucks.
Maybe you can win my pink hat.
Maybe. I'll wear it too.
All right. Next up is the pink hat.
The pink hat. All right.
The pink hat. I'm hoping, I'm going to say this. I'm hoping whoever wins this decides to redonate it next year.
It's
Is that
fun
really-
to do.
It'd be really
Yes, I
awesome.
won this last year and then donated it back to Dale for this year.
So last year we got $24,000 for this hat. So I'm
That's
hoping whoever
insane.
wins,
That's awesome.
I'm hoping who wins it will donate it back. So that's all I have to say about that. So the winner of the pink hat is
Look at Leah. Someone said she's adorable, Jess. That's you. Are you adorable?
David Neeson.
David Neeson.
Ah!
Oh.
So David, if you want to be really nice,
That's fun. Very
okay.
fun.
Next up is the picture frame that someone
I'll
made.
even take that. And you engraved that?
Yep.
All right.
It smells like
That
Doesn't
makes
it Doesn't it smell so good? When I engraved that stuff,
it smells like seawater.
it smelled really. My whole shop smelled. It was really sweet.
Yeah. Rick even signed the back of it. So the winner of the picture frame is
Oh, let's see. Somebody might be home.
Donna Cope.
Donna Cope. All right.
No, I thought Daddy was home. But no.
Okay, last thing. This is the crib board that everybody's been bothering me for. And
Who
Rick
made
signed the
that?
back of it
Who made that?
Uncle Rick.
somewhere. Rick signed the back of it.
Uncle Rick made that?
This is a nice freaking crib board. I wish I could keep this, but anyway. So the winner of the crib board is
No, he's not.
Ray Hadley.
Ray Hadley. All right.
Cool.
That's awesome.
So there we go. That's everybody.
That's
so
everything.
I will email everybody this weekend. I kind of got some stuff to do, but I will email everybody this weekend and let them know.
Is there a bunch of more names in there?
Oh yeah.
So do another one, and I'll do another Tumblr.
Okay, I'll pick one, Darlene. Penny Van Velra.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Cool. I don't know how to pronounce that. Oh, how do we get these?
So that's it.
Very fun.
Yeah. Sorry about that, folks. We've got somebody who is spamming the chat there with some uncool
It
stuff.
happens all the time.
Yeah, it does.
I bet you I know who it was.
Just whatever you do, do not click on any of that crap out there.
No, it's bad.
Yeah. So I hate that.
So anyway, Jeff, thank you, and Linda, thank you, and Jess, thank you so much for
I put
helping
him
me
in
with all
timeout
this.
for something else he said.
All right. Well, I tell you what, we do it because we like you guys a lot, and we think that what you're doing for this, for Christmas Daddies up there in Nova Scotia, is a fantastic thing. And I tell you what, you two work so very hard to put all this together and to do the donations and all the stress you have to go through with it all. I know you have had a crazy last month, I'll say, maybe more.
The hurricane damage, we had a ton of damage from the hurricane to our house. We had damage to our store last week. We were threatened to be charged by the police for doing our fundraising. It's been a month.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, through it all, you guys have persevered, and thank you so very much for what you do. It's
we are
really
really pleased to be able to be a part.
right.
Yeah, I'm very happy how much is raised, and I mean, this group here is just incredible for doing this.
Yeah, they truly are.
Really appreciate it. Trust me, the kids are going to appreciate it at Christmas time when they wake up in the morning and there's actually stuff underneath their tree.
Yep, I know. That's
so
really
it's a big thing. It's a big thing. So,
Sherry, thank you so much for what you do, and hey, congratulations on the medal.
Thank you very much.
I'll post a picture. She gets her medal. She gets the Queen's Jubilee Platinum Medal on Saturday in a ceremony here. So we're actually going to close our store and go up for it. And she gets the medal Saturday. So I'll get a picture of her and send it to you.
That is so cool. Congratulations.
Congrats, Sherry.
That's awesome. Really, really cool.
Sorry. Can you gotta go by Sissy?
And they were worried about you.
They were worried about me. I know.
Well, we always worry about Dale. We have to worry about.
We have to.
I do not need a filter.
That's what I was saying earlier, that he got the medal because you got the medal because you have to put up with him. That's why you deserve a medal for that.
Oh, he's a sweetie.
I try. I really do. No, Sherry's getting it. She's been quite the community person the past couple of years, and it's a big recognition for her to be recognized this way. And there's only, like I said, in Cumberland County, which is where we live, every MLA gets 15 medals, and there's only 55 MLAs in Nova Scotia. So there's only 5,000 medals in total, and the province has 1 million people. So it's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
Super proud of her. Super proud of her.
Oh, is it?
But anyway, I'll let you go. It's like 8:45, and you got to get your podcast going here.
Yes, so we do. So, thank you so much. But this was definitely worth the time.
Thanks, Sherry.
Thank you guys again.
Thank you, everybody.
And thanks everybody for donating. It really, really helped this year.
All right. We want to see that picture of you giving the check.
I'll get a cut. We'll get a picture of it.
All right. Sounds
sure.
good. Thank you so
All
much.
right.
Have a good
Thanks.
night.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Is that your treasure? Okay.
All right. So there you go. That was for Christmas Daddies, folks. And that was really cool. We really, like I said, we really are happy to help them out with that every year. And we know that the guys on the island, Rick and putting all that stuff together and signing all those things and those cribbage boards and all that. I mean, those are things that in the picture frame, those are things that are given out. He does those special. And now I found out here just within the last week that Jess is the one who engraves all those things. So that's really awesome. That you do an awesome job. That is really good.
Thank you. Stop.
All right. So getting on with this, we're going to recap now the TV the program that was the Return to Poverty Island. Now, this particular episode, when they had the very first one and they went out there and they had Mr. Abbott was on there with Abbott Underwater Acoustics, and he put down his apparatus down there in the water. It was on the little tripod and it was taking a sonar scan of the bottom. Ever since those things happened, I knew that this was one that we had to return to because there was more information that was going to come out about this particular episode. And so then they go back and Rob Westrick was there and Doug Gossage, and they actually went out and they did some scanning of the water and the surface. They did some dives. And again, they did find that big chunk of well, I wasn't really sure exactly. I'm going to show this picture real quick. It was this thing here that they found when they were out there. And we're not really sure. Somebody said something about it being an eye post or something that cables would go through or something. So we're not really sure exactly what it was. Unfortunately, they weren't allowed to bring it up or anything like that. It has to stay.
Rob, if you're still in the chat, tell us what you think it is.
Yeah, please jump in there and say what you think that is, because Rob was in the chat. But anyway, so they went through and they did that, but now we heard there was going to be a return trip to Poverty Island, and we didn't know who was going to be part of it. Well, who was going to be the ones that were going to take the team out there, and was it going to be Marty again? Because Marty, every time Marty goes out, they don't find anything. So this time they said Rick and Matty and Uncle Rick. So Uncle Rick went out there, and then we find out that we have a new team that has been researching this, and that team consists of Jess Groleau along with her husband Mike. Now Mike works for the sheriff's department, correct?
Yep.
Here in the UP of Michigan, over by Escanaba, or that way. They're over on the west side. I'm over on the east side. So anyway, we find out that Jess has been researching this for a long time, and she had some information. What I'd like to do is ask you, Jess, to kind of kick this off for us. When did you find you had an interest to look into this whole thing? Was it the Captain Lawrence boat you were looking into, or the Poverty Island? What got you started with this?
I've always been interested in all history, so all this, and then my husband is the one that actually told me about it. I'm like, oh, that's pretty sweet. And then I started just reading a little bit here and there, and then the more I read, I started just compiling a binder. Binders it became, and books. And I started, he'd be like, babe, it's 3 a.m. You gotta get up in 2 hours. You gotta go to bed. I'm like, I can't stop. I'm a sticky note person, and I had and I color I had all these maps. I'm like, look at and my hair would be everywhere like a crazy person. I'd be like, I figured it out, and he'd be like, go to bed, but and that's kind of how it was, just one little thing. And I'm like, well, but it was like a sticky note map everywhere. My house was just a big giant sticky note map. It's kind of funny.
So when you found it, you get, and it does, this kind of, was it the treasure that kind of, or was it just the history of it all?
It's the history. Don't get me wrong. It would be cool. The treasure, I would never be like, oh, yep. No, no, I would definitely be, but I love the story. It's never been about I could really care less about the treasure, to be honest. I'd like the stories, because let's be the stories, it's history. It's somebody, all those are somebody's past lives, so I think that's cool. Yeah, for sure. It truly is. And that's something that, as we know, Rick is very passionate about also, is the history behind it all. And I've said many times, talking about the Curse of Oak Island, is that would we love to see them pull up, all this, Gerhardt truckload of silver and gold that's down below the money pit? Yes, we'd love to see them find that.
But really, I think it's important to get to this, to the who, what, why, where, and when, like Rick always says.
Yep.
That's really what intrigues me now. And there's Robert Westrick saying that that piece of wood, it says it looks like part of the stern post, or the stern post, the stem post or stern post. Hard to tell from just with just the one angle without examining the fasteners. Okay, yeah, he's talking about this piece that they found right here. So yeah, it would be hard to really determine without getting it up and really getting an a good examination of this thing. Um, but again, being a professional diver, you've seen a lot of that kind of stuff. We're sure that on the bottom, on the ocean bottom, here we're in Lake Michigan. But it was interesting that they found this piece. But that was it, really, until Rick went back with Matty Blake and got hooked up with Jess and Mike. And then was able to go out there and take another look at things. So, Jess, you had compiled so much literature on this thing. I guess, as we go along here, I guess one of the things that I was confused about was, and well, maybe I should wait until we get started with this a little bit. I'm jumping ahead of myself. I really, I have so many confusions on this whole story, the saga. But I tell you what, I'll jump into some of my pictures here and we'll go along. Okay. As you guys know, this has been already talked about on the previous Beyond Oak Islands, where they were talking about the blockades that were being done. And this was about 1863. The Union Navy blockaded the southern ports, thus blocking shipments of cotton to Europe. The French Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte III planned to ship millions in gold to the Confederacy through the St. Lawrence Seaway. Because they had all this blockaded, they came up through the St. Lawrence Seaway and made their way into the Great Lakes. Now, so he's bringing this, and they're bringing some, supposedly bringing some of this gold and whatnot, coinage and everything to come in to help fund the Confederacy so they can continue with the fight. So as that is going on, they didn't want to get caught. They didn't want the funds to get caught. They knew they were going to be overtaken, supposedly, as the story is being told by the History Channel. So they chained some boxes together, threw them over with this chain down below, and threw them in the water. They could come back later and try to snag them and pull them back up. And supposedly that was right around Poverty Island. Okay. So this story goes along, and then you've got a gentleman that goes out to try to find it later on. And this is where the whole Wilfred Barons, is that how his name is pronounced?
That's how I say it. So, and I'm like never wrong. So we'll go with that.
There you go.
Well, you found something out there. So Wilfred Barons, he goes out there with the boat called a salvage ship or boat called the Captain Lawrence, and he goes out there to find it. And as they're working, as you saw on this show, that the boy, the 11-year-old boy on the island, was watching them or whatever, and they were trying to decide where exactly that this was. What part of the island was it on? Now, knowing that that's a pretty small island and that boy could have been anywhere on any shoreline, that didn't really tell you a whole lot. You would assume that it would have been over by the lighthouse on the one side, but not necessarily true. So they go back out, and I had a picture. I'm going to bring up this one picture I have of the Poverty Island real quick. Okay, this is what they had on the show. Now, the first time they went out, they were looking here on the bottom, down on the south side.
Mm-hmm.
The second time they went out, they were up here with Rob and with Doug, and they were up here looking on the north side. Now, you guys, this time going out, you were looking over here. Was there a particular something that led you to this spot over here on this side, Jess? Was that your best guess at the time?
No, well, so there was, from going to the island, it's hard to explain because I'm really bad with directions. I can get lost in a paper bag, and you can't even see me pointing at. So if you're on the lighthouse,
I do that all the time.
Lighthouse right here. Yep.
Yep. And being there, it's like the best. How do I put like? What do you call it? Vantage point, maybe. I want to
Okay.
say.
Yeah, it would be for sure. Yeah.
And then just all the research, and was like, well, it was just kind of followed like I said, the sticky note
Mm-hmm.
trail.
It led you to this spot. Well, I
Mhm.
thought it was really neat because, knowing that especially in the shallower waters, the lake can be pretty clear at times. So, you guys had the idea to go up in a plane and
Yep.
fly over the island or around the island and look for something that was visible from that vantage point. So everybody got out there. You guys were getting ready. You got a plane all set up, and then took off. Is this Escanaba? Is this the airport right there in Escanaba?
Yep. Yeah. And
So the
actually, so we've flown over because my husband's a pilot too.
Oh wow.
Um, so that was the first time I seen it from the sky, to believe it or not. So it
That
was
was
pretty.
So
Yeah.
you guys have flown that area and not spotted that.
No, but it
You weren't
wasn't.
really looking for it.
I wasn't looking for it, and I'm a picture person. Like, oh, it's so beautiful, snap. And I don't know. It, it's hard to explain too because when they were here,
Mhm.
we told them because there's the giant windmills out there.
Right.
They weren't moving, and I can't remember. That's like unheard of. Like we told them, we're like, that's,
Wow.
I can't remember the last time that's happened.
Mhm.
So it was like almost like a sign from above, like you were meant to see it was pretty cool. So
Yeah.
because otherwise, I mean, it's bad out there.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
So totally still.
Yeah.
if
And
you don't,
that's this picture I wanted to show here. Now, this is obviously when you guys were, I don't know if this, because at some point when you were flying around in the plane, there was a boat out there and they were taking pictures of the plane flying by and all that. So we know that. So I don't know if this is,
that was
Uncle Potty.
but you see the water here, and that's what we were just talking about. The fact that the water is so calm, that gives you that advantage point to look down bless you, look down from the
sorry.
plane and be able to see down deeper into the water because of the fact that the water is so calm. If it had been a windy day, the water had been choppy, you're not going to have that visibility.
No, and yeah, that boat in the water was our I think it was probably our film boat.
Yeah. Yeah. There's actually two there. You can actually see two
Oh,
of them.
this is
Yeah. So that might have been when you were diving or
that's because it flags up. So yeah, that's the
oh,
dive
yep, yep,
boat.
diver in the water flag. Yep. Yeah, that's this one right here on the backside. You see the flag up right there. So that's when
Mhm.
they had the divers were in when Mike and
John.
John, yeah, were in the water. So, but that gives you that clarity, having a clear day like that. So you fly around the island, and lo and behold, you find a wreck. You can see the ribs of a wreck underwater. And of course, now this isn't the picture from the plane. This is a picture from the drone that they flew over later on after they spotted it. But there it is. I mean, there is
That's
a boat.
that was crazy though, because I even said when we watched the episode, that's what we saw from that's how it looked from the plane.
Wow.
And
Can you
you'd
imagine?
never be able to see that had it been normal conditions out there.
Right. Exactly. So everything was lining up for you guys to spot this thing that particular day. Like you said, that's really cool.
Yeah, and I mean we've flown over that. I don't, I mean, I don't know how many times now. I have so many. I like to what this is gonna sound super nerdy. How many years now he's been flying, and then since I've been researching, I take pictures of the island, and I've been I document it how it looks
Mhm.
throughout the years to see what's changed.
That's neat. Yeah.
And then I just think like, oh, maybe my kids will want to look at this, or my
Mhm.
grandkids want. I don't know. Probably not. Like, I don't know, maybe, but
They might if they
They
know
will.
the history. Yeah.
That's what my thought is, taking like 9,000 pictures every time I go up is, oh, maybe my grandkids will want to look and look like this. So,
So well, you spotted that thing. Now
Mhm.
comes the idea to figure out exactly, is that the Captain Lawrence? That now becomes the thing to find out. And the only way to know that for sure, and hopefully you can find out, is to dive on it. But before you do that, they went back out. Now this time when they go back out, they go and they get a boat and they get the side scan sonar with this unit right here. And there's there's just a artist rendition of what it would look like on the boat. That's not really the actual photograph of it. But
that's pretty accurate though.
pretty close, like a fish finder mounted down there or something. But the side scan sonar, and they're getting so much smaller and smaller. The technology gets better with them all the time. So they start working a pattern back and forth, like they say, mowing the lawn, going back and forth there, trying and getting a look at the bottom. And in doing so, they started picking up these little pictures here on the monitor. And then you get this one here. And this is the one that really kind of stood out to everybody, I think. Did it not?
That's
Jess?
why we got excited, because the story, how it went down salvaging or look, on top of another ship. And that's, there's one, two.
Right.
What, honey? I don't
Now,
care, but you gotta be quiet.
They were saying that this piece on the back, which is perpendicular to the other part up here, this is one ship here, and this was another ship here that had just sunk right on top of it. Now that's, I guess this is where I was getting ahead of myself earlier, because I was thinking we were initially talking about the fact that they had thrown these chests over with, and they were tied together with chains, and they were going to snag them and get the treasure back at some point. I didn't, where I thought, where's the second ship come in? That ship supposedly got away. If that story is true, they threw their treasure overboard, and then they maybe got away. So I was wondering, where did a second ship come into this picture that would have been sunken? But we do know that the guys found something when the boy on Poverty Island, the lighthouse keeper's son, heard them very excitedly saying something about they found something. And then the next day, after the storm came through, the salvage boat, the Captain Lawrence, sunk. And if it sunk down, and it sunk on top of whatever it was that they found. So I was a little curious about what this other ship is, or what this other boat is. They found something and they brought it aboard. So again, all supposed. I don't know that they actually have fact of all that stuff. They didn't. They did record that they. There was, I guess, with the Coast Guard, they didn't want to give up their location, or how did that go again? It was with the Coast Guard. They kept it secret.
The what I found online was he didn't want he denied assistance from the Coast Guard bringing it up.
Okay. Yep.
Because you assume he didn't want anybody to know exactly where it went down.
That's, right. Or
it makes sense.
Right.
If my boat went down, the people I would want helping, it'd be the Coast Guard.
Yeah, exactly. Unless you had all this gold on board.
Unless they had something on there and be like, oh, no thank you.
Never mind.
Yeah, never mind. We're fine. Yeah.
It was a bad boat. It was a bad boat. It needs to stay under. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Jess, do you know at what, I know that part of this, the bow of the boat was in shallow water and then it went deeper as it sank. How shallow? How deep? How deep were they diving when they looked at those?
I think deep. There's the shallows, but it's so clear it looks like you could stand, but you can't. It's 40 ish.
Wow.
Okay.
That's the shallow
Right.
part, and then the deep part is deep. You can't. So you can't. It's black water. You can't see nothing.
Right. And that's back here on the stern is where the other boat was laying across it on the stern out here in the deeper section, which
Yeah,
you
and you
can't
can't
see in this
see
picture.
that.
Right, in this picture. So this would have been the bow up here, which would have been right up toward the beach area again in the shallower water,
Right,
and
and
the stern in the deeper water.
yeah, and that's it. Kind of looks like it's on the shore. It's not. It's
Yeah.
still far out.
Yeah, still pretty deep. But again, the water is so clear and it's
I know
cold that day. It's very deceiving.
and that's why there's it's not right here, but nearby there's a place. They call it Death. It's in French. It's like it's like something along the lines of like Death's Door.
Oh wow.
Because there's so many shipwrecks in like this big alley, but it's if you don't know how to boat out here, you're gonna wreck your boat.
Well, and that's the funny, we've talked about that before. I've mentioned that on the show before, is that, there's so many shipwrecks in the Great Lakes. I mean, just thousands of them. And it's amazing that there's that many. I never would have guessed that. But again, I talked about before about going into one of the restaurants up in the UP, and they got a placemat on the table, and the placemat you got the Great Lakes, and it has just maybe half of the shipwrecks listed on the placemat. And I was amazed at how many there were, and it was just crazy number. The seas out there can be very treacherous, especially in the
So
Lake
you
Superior.
wish you brought that placemat with you?
I know, if I would have kept it then, right? I talked about it enough.
Speaking of, it's kind of like a side note. So back when they ran moonshine, because a lot of they use the Great Lakes as and they went down in the storm. So there's a lot, we call it liquid gold. So there's a lot of moonshine back from the Prohibition underneath the water, that if you were to find that would be a big money thing too.
Wow.
People don't realize that there's other forms of treasure at the bottom of the lakes.
Yep. And the thing of it is, with Michigan, is so strict with their rules about that kind of stuff. You can't bring anything up.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something we'll talk about that toward the end. I wanted to kind of see where you guys were at with all of that.
Renee. Yeah. That's the path. Whatever Porte de Mortes, like what I was saying. The death's pass. Whatever. I can't speak French.
The
but
Port of Mortis.
Death.
Yeah.
It's
Port of Death.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like, but it's.
Where is that? Where is that exactly?
Towards Washington Island area.
Okay.
So it's fairly close. Like there's this big chain of islands, but even over by Poverty, I always call it Death's Doorway. Yeah.
Yeah, there's Doug. Doug was he was out there. Doug and Rob were the ones that were at they were at Poverty Island.
We were the film boat when they were there.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
The return, or wait, no. The one that the episode before us.
Yeah, the second one.
Yeah, so our boat, we were the follow boat.
Oh, wow. That's really cool.
But anyways, I always ask we call it thread the needle, because there's only one spot
to get through there
to get through. And if you don't have the thing to I don't even know what
GPS, the navigation.
Yeah, can you tell I'm tired? My kid doesn't sleep.
Yeah. Well, we thank you for being up, putting up with this
this is. I would be working. I need a break.
Oh, okay, good. Hi, Doug. By the way, thanks for joining us here tonight. So anyway, so we see Mike all suited up to jump in the water.
Look at his beard. He's so cute.
So yeah, he's all geared up, getting ready to. This was before they went in the first time, I guess. And then of course there's John Smith, Delta County Marine Unit, and he was joining on the dive that day. This
He's
first.
also a history teacher.
Oh, is he really? Wow.
Yeah, so he only does the that works that part in the summer. It's kind of
wow.
cool. So he's a full-time teacher, and then he works nonstop. So and then the summertime he works too.
Very cool.
Yeah, I mean that would be so
like a high school history teacher. Or?
He middle school. So I think he does 6th, 7th, and 8th maybe, or just one like 8th. But it's middle school. Michigan history it might be, or just history. I don't know what it is anymore. But because he was one of my teachers. He was one of my it's funny. He was one of my teachers, and then he was in our wedding because him and my husband he's one of my husband's best friends. It's funny, but he was my Michigan history teacher.
That's funny. You know, you talk about the community up in Michigan like that. It's so typical of that kind of thing too, though. Really, truly is.
It's a different world up here. Like people
Mhm.
don't understand. Like we have our own set of rules.
Well, we always said if the rest of the world goes to heck, we'll blow the bridge, close off the Wisconsin side. We got our own
We're good.
Country here. We'll
Yep.
take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
That just a joke, by the way. I'm not talking about blowing the bridge. The Mackinac Bridge is down.
Oh yeah, God. You're gonna have pounding on the door. FBI.
Yeah, pretty soon the guys will be out here knocking on the door. No, that was no, I'm not going to blow the bridge.
Yeah. Are you Jeff
The
Freeman?
bridge is just too beautiful. I mean, I every time I go across the Mackinac Bridge, and I always have to look over at Mackinac Island because I worked there as a teenager for a little while when they were filming the movie Somewhere in Time with Christopher Reeves and Jane Seymour.
My husband just made me watch that.
He made you watch it.
Well, I'm ADD, and then I fell asleep. But yeah, he watches like all those movies, and then I'm always like comedy, and he's like, no,
it's a love story, tearjerker, all that kind of stuff. But it was and the reason I liked it because I was on the island around that time that they were filming that thing. So anyway, that's going back to my little history there. But all right, so we've seen Mike all suited up with John there, and they dive in.
That's it. That's his blue. So you know it's him because he's got the blue fins.
The blue fins, yep. And so they're down there working, and this is the part that I think is so awesome because, both of them being, very professional divers, and Doug and Rob Westrick being able to do the same thing and go and dive. You guys being able to do this kind of stuff. I still want to get, even though I'm old now, I still love to get my diving certification and be able to do this because this is so cool to be able to go down and actually see this history laying on the bottom of the lake like this is just phenomenal. And here you are, here's Mike out here with John, and they're being able to go down and check this out and get a good up close look at the wreckage that's down there. Now, I'm assuming that this part of it is the original part that was seen by the airplane or the drone as they were going along. There's Mr. Bluefins.
Yeah, it's hard to.
There's so much. Yeah, it's hard to tell where they're at there.
I don't dive too, so I'm always like.
I think this is up on the bow portion of it there because that's where it kind of was broken apart and then sticking out toward the closer toward the shoreline on that part there. But they were getting a good look at it. Now this here would be part of the if this were the Captain Lawrence, this would be the parts of the Captain Lawrence because you can see the big cable. Mike talked about that cable being found down there. That's obviously going to be some of the modern stuff from 1960s rather than, or 33, sorry, from the 1930s rather than, back in the days of the French ship, of course. And here's some of these ribs. Now he's talking about the second wreck here. Looks a lot newer than the first. So that would have been the Captain Lawrence, portions of the Captain Lawrence. And that's where they're making that distinction between the age of the two. So they were obviously separated according to what they could tell and what they could see. And then here he says, yep, looks like we found the second wreck at that point. And they're going by and checking all that out. There's another picture of it there. And again, that's where I got into thinking about the second, why was there another ship there? That just still, I need to get more information about that part. Was that ever anything? Was anything like that talked about it when you were? Because I like I said earlier, I thought it was just these chests being thrown over, but yet they found another wreck. Any idea what
You
ship?
talking about the old one?
Yeah, the old one.
So I think so. There's a couple.
If you're allowed to say, I don't know if you're under NDA and you're not allowed to say. Be careful with that. I don't want to draw you into saying
No,
something.
so actually, like if you there's a couple like variations in the story. Like sometimes it says like the Captain Lawrence was just a salvage ship and it accidentally found like chests.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes it would say it knew that it was there, so they were purposely going, and that was the two variations. I don't know what part it's hard to say, but I think that that old ship, the one underneath, was it just got like foundered in a storm or something, and maybe that Captain Lawrence actually it was
Stumbled
a
across
salvage ship. I think it was an accident.
Right.
But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I don't know.
I think you might be right because again, I don't remember them talking about another ship. Like I said earlier, they were looking for these chests that were thrown overboard. Yet now we found that they're obviously if this turns out to be the Captain Lawrence, obviously they had found another wreck. They were there checking it out. They left their boat, their salvage boat, anchored or whatever right there, and then of course it got sunk by the storm that came in that night. So, what did they find? And they must have found something very significant if they didn't want to talk about it. Like we mentioned earlier, if they didn't want to have the Coast Guard come and help them and get this thing up out of there was reasons why they didn't want to do that. Doug asked the question.
Yeah, they measured it.
Did they?
I think, and I don't know what I'm allowed to say.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine.
Said it was on the show.
Was it?
They said it looks like it was blah 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 feet.
Is it in my notes here?
It's big. So,
yeah, I don't see it in my notes here. I'm looking at the Jan synopsis that was written up, and I don't see it in here.
So the older ship would be, it can be any length. Is that but the newer one, which we would hope is the Captain Lawrence, is 66. So.
Okay, 66 feet.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. That.
But the older one, the older one, that one doesn't. It doesn't matter what what size that is, but they did measure it.
Right. Yeah, because we don't even know what ship it was or what it has anything to do with. But some of the little telltale signs talked about it.
I think I know what it might be, but I don't know. I don't know what I'm allowed to say.
Yeah, I know. Careful. I don't want to put you in a position where you say something.
I don't want Uncle Rick mad at me.
Yeah, Uncle Rick will never talk to you again. But anyway, so we know that that a lot of the things that they found in the area, they were talking about some of the ballast stones that were found, and the type of ballast stones that they would indicate maybe that it was of a very old ship. When did they stop using ballast stones like that? I don't know. There again, you get into some of the history of some of these older ships, but with ballast stones that they found, that was a key point there as well. And there was a few other things that they were talking about. Just from their observations between Mike and John, they were able to determine that the one ship was definitely a lot older. So it's really be interesting if we could find out. But again, you've got to deal with the state of Michigan and trying to figure out or get permits so you can go down there and establish exactly what it is. And you would think that I understand that to a degree, being so tight about it because you don't want everybody that's just, out there diving on it and pulling up all kinds of stuff. You want it done correctly.
Right. And that's what our thing was, is we didn't want, like, we don't want to plunder. We've never wanted to like take anything. Like, we want to share the history with our state.
Right.
I think it's such an incredible. I mean, like, there's graveyards out there if you think about it, because of all if it were my family, and if we were handling it the way that I would be okay with it. I feel that we've been truly respectful. So, but that's why we're just waiting to hear back.
Well, it's like Mike working with the sheriff's department. I mean, come on, his credentials.
I think him with his job, I think that has helped. He's a lot more level-headed than me too, because I'd be like, no, and he's like, take a breather, think it through. You can't just storm in there. And I'm like, yes, I can. And he's like, you're not gonna we can't. I'm like, fine. And then after it calmed down and have another cup of coffee, and then I'm like, oh, I'm okay. Yep, you're right.
Yeah, you strike me as that kind of person too. Like, just want to get right in there and just take,
I'm Italian though, so that's why I talk with my hands a lot too. So like, if I ever get frustrated or whatever too, I'll be like talking to my Mike, and he's like, put your hands down. I'm like, oh, I'm Italian. This is what we do.
Oh man, I can just see you two. Yeah, I can't wait to meet Mike. I have to talk to him sometime and meet him.
It's even funnier though, because I'm only 5. I'll give myself 5'1". I'm 5'1" and he's 6'3". And then when he wears his boots and stuff, he's like 6'5". So I'm like
double your. You're like double.
I'm like way up there, and
Rick is pretty tall too, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm so short. Everybody, Matty's tall.
Yeah, Matty's pretty tall. Yeah.
It was funny.
Yeah.
So I have to share.
Oh, please.
When it was really fun when they were here, and we're trying to get the footage from when they were here, and they said they would send it, but I'm super klutzy. And when one of the times I was getting off the boat, I got caught, my jean shorts, I was caught on a cleat, and I was dangling over, hanging over the water, dangling from my back pocket, like belt loop. And I was like, oh, my ass. And the whole camera crew, they're like, oh my God, help her. And my husband just like, she does this all the time. She's fine. And I'm dangling like, oh my God, help me. So then when we were in the scene in Fayette with Todd Berg, our giant nerd, we call him. There was, at first they wanted me to they wanted him walking up, and I was like fixing a thing, and then I'd get into the boat. Well, getting into the boat, I'm short too. Yeah, short people. I tripped and I face planted and hit my face, and I my knee was bleeding a little bit, and I popped up. I was like, don't put that on the episode. And there was all these people around. There's a couple DNR officers. They're like, oh my God. And then my husband's like, oh my God, she's so embarrassing. I'm like, I'm fine. And then Rick and Matty were like, oh my God, are you okay? I'm like, I'm fine. I do this all the time.
I always ask people to share a funny story, and that's awesome, man. I appreciate you doing that.
Yeah, so we did Laura, who is the producer with us there. She's amazing. Everyone is amazing. I can't stress this enough. Everyone that we worked with on the show, we loved. But Laura, I was like, Mike's like, I want that footage. It's going to the family. Everyone's getting it for Christmas. My wife dangling from her backside, and there's camera crew oh my God.
And the drone over top getting a shot of it too.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry to laugh so much.
Oh, you can laugh. I laughed. I was it was just funny because I was like, all I can say is bubble. I know. Bubble. I do. I've been told that they need to put me in a bubble.
Yeah, bubble wrap. Yeah.
I've broken so many
Hmm.
bones and surgeries, and
Wow.
actually, when we did the update, when they were like, oh, and they, how they're like, oh, we have an update, and they clicked.
Hmm.
I had a broken foot.
Oh,
and-
really?
And
Wow.
toe.
Yeah, we're going to come to that here in just a minute. So, yeah, so the sharks circling below. There's no sharks in the but anyway, yes, I see what you're getting at there. Yeah, that's pretty.
Sure. Well, we have
Oh,
well,
for short people, not far to hit the ground. Okay, yeah. Okay. Wanda can say that because she said she was short too. I
She's
guess.
short too.
Yeah. So, all right. So the guys were down there looking at this the one wreck on top of the other wreck, and they were really checking this out, getting a close look. And lo and behold, they can see there's certain places where they can see inside the ship that's underneath the older one. So that's what they're doing here. They're actually, checking out some of what's inside these little holes or cavities where they can get a look. They're checking things out a little bit. And I got my pictures out. There's the end right there. That's where you got.
I'm sitting funny because of my broken body.
But they said they found what appeared to be like a chest of some sort, or a couple of them. And I know Mike was talking about what they look like on top, where they had like the top and then the angled sides and everything. And he was talking about the size of it being somewhere around 18, 20 inches, and all that. So right there, I mean, you start to wonder, were those the chests that they were searching for to begin with? And that, of course, we just don't know yet until the guys have an opportunity to get back out there. And with permits, I guess, and be able to actually go in and start to actually salvage this or both of these boats to find out what's there. So, toward the end here, the guys had you back on the show in the war room. They always do the war room update at the end, and that's this picture here with you and Mike, and you with your broken foot, and he was talking about this chain. The piece
The
of
story
chain.
how I broke it is embarrassing. So, oh god. Anyways, keep going.
Okay, all right. I was going to let you tell the story if you want to, but so the chain. Now this particular piece of chain that's a big piece of chain, but again, and it does look old to me. But again, I'm not an expert on these kinds of things, but it does look like an old chain. Is that the infamous chain that had the boxes, all chained together? To me, it looked like a bit big lengthwise for a chain that would be doing that. But again, I don't know. It's hard to tell from a photograph just how big those links are. Looking like this, but this was the information that you guys shared after. Now, was this from looking at the pictures that you were allowed to look at after the filming was done, or did you?
No, this is
Or can
because
you talk
we
about
went.
that again? I got to be
We
careful.
went back later.
Yeah, we go. I think we'd go out at least once or twice a week, with the weather permitting. Some days we would get there and go out there, and then it'd be calm and for out there, and then we'd get insane, like dangerous swells. There was, I think, 1 or 2 times we had to turn, and our boat is made for like the big waves, and then we still had to come back a couple times. But yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Those, like you said, the waters can be very treacherous.
I thought the chain looked really big too, but then my other thought was they weren't planning on chaining those chests together. This was not a plan.
That's very
No,
true.
so
That's very true.
Yeah, and they couldn't stop at the hardware store and grab some to
Let's run
chain
back
them
over to
up.
shore.
It was whatever they had that they could grab and do.
what, honey?
Yeah, yeah, that's a very good point, Linda. They had to use what they had at hand
Yeah.
in a moment's notice, because here they look like they're being overtaken by a Union ship.
Right.
So they're thinking, oh my gosh, we got to do something here. Let's chain them together, throw them overboard so they don't find it. We can come back and get them later. providing they can get away, or even if they are overtaken and searched or whatever, they won't have
They won't
that
have the gold.
taken from them, right? Yeah, interesting. But you're right. Yeah, they would have had to use what they had at hand. So if that story is true, and again, that's one of those things that I don't know. I don't know where that's. Did any of your research talk about the original ship, the French ship that would have had thrown these overboard? Did it talk about that at all, or?
From all the stuff, I mean, I still need to be able to go to, because I want to get into like the Library of Congress, like actually go there, or like these big libraries. With my schedule with the kids and my business, it's just like late night like computer stuff. So I think if I were able to get to an actual big library, I think I can find some more info, because a lot of times that they keep the archives. A lot of times they're under like lock and key, and you're like
Right.
watched. But as of right now, I haven't found anything. I've tried every combination. Like I've tried different like searching for different things. I've asked my kids, like, "Hey, what's a different way I could word this?" I mean, I've gone to my kids and been like, "How can I word this?" And they're like, "I don't know."
Yeah.
I've even like searched like extensively. Like I've gone through and looked through thousands of pictures of Confederate photos, and like I've tried to match names and where they were stationed. Like I've done that. Like I have like maps of sticky notes. I'm like, well, maybe if I can find this guy was in this area at this time. So I'm trying to like.
Yep, that's some of the painstaking research. Yeah, wow.
And and so it's again, I don't know what I'm allowed to say, but some of the stuff that I've found, I'm like, holy crap, this makes sense, but
yeah, well,
I have so much info locked in here too. Like I don't know how to like.
You have to write a book.
I know. That's what I have like all these big binders and stuff. So I've been like, I try to write down everything, and then I don't know, maybe my kids will be able to use it.
Yeah, you should put it all together at some point. Put it together and write a book about what you've discovered. I think it would be interesting to read, because that's and again on this show, I end up having a lot of different researchers that come on here and share things like that with us, and it's fantastic. It really
Robert,
is.
yes, I use Best Great Lakes Research as a center. I believe that's the one I use online, but I don't know at Bowling Green. There's one online. It's the Great Lakes. Is there? Can you screen record? Oh no, this is being. I can go back and look because I don't.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, it'll be on YouTube. You can go check it out. I'll send you a link to the show. Also,
Okay.
you can share it wherever you want. There was one more picture, and this was another scan, I guess, that you guys had done. This was where you showed this at the end of the episode of this particular thing that is sitting out there. It says on here that Mike then shows them a side scan image of what looks like a chest on the bottom, then in that it is only 200 to 300 yards from the wreckage. They will dive to verify that it is a chest or not. The one thing that got me about this particular thing is it is casting that shadow, but it does have this little line right in here that would, if it was a solid chest, it probably would be solid black, I would think. But again, I don't know. With the radar, the side scanning unit like that. Is this something you can talk about or no? I understand.
I can't.
Okay.
No.
Right. We'll leave that alone then.
But
Move on.
no, I can't. I won't even say it.
Yeah, don't please. I don't
I'll be
want
like, no, why did you say that? No.
I know. Yeah, no. Okay, so more to come on that, hopefully. So is it likely we're going to see episode number 4 about the Poverty Island, the return of Poverty Island? Well, we don't know. There might be yet another one.
Have to wait for next year and see.
Yeah, wait till next year and find out if there's going to be another one where they go back and do some more research.
I told my husband that I want to. I'm not even allowed to say this. Never mind.
Okay, there you go. So it was really cool though. But I mean, this warranted. I think that it warranted. After Rob and Doug were out there, that was when I said, "Oh my gosh, we can't leave this story alone." I mean, I wanted them to go back after the first time out with Marty Lagina, and then Mr.
Bob
Abbott was out there.
Krupke and
Oh,
Yeah.
fun fact. So the
Yes.
very first episode,
hmm
we were laying in bed. It was like it was like a rewind, or we bought the episodes because then we got into the Curse of Oak Island, and then we bought the Beyond the Oak Island, the first season.
Mhm.
And it was the Poverty Island episode. We didn't even know that was on there yet. And my husband's like, "Wait a minute, I know that." He was like, when they were out filming the first time, my husband, he was like, they were out on the sheriff boat, and they pulled up, and they're like, "Hey, what's going on? How's it going?" And so he was out there actually when they were filming, and it never even clicked.
Wow.
And he was like, "I know that guy. I remember talking to him." But like he never even remembered or realized what
Really?
he was just like, "Hey," you know.
I was trying to
It was
find
kind of
it.
funny.
Brian Abbott. That's his name. I kept stumbling. I couldn't remember his first name. It was Brian Abbott. He's the one that was out there with the Abbott underwater acoustics, and they were looking for.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, that's who he remembered talking to.
Yep. Yeah, he's been on. He was also. They actually got him because he had put down the equipment down into 10x.
10x. Yes,
Yep.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yep. They put it down into 10x, and then they were able to. Yeah, here's a picture of him here.
yeah, and he's a Michigan guy. I mean, Marty knew about him.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, here's where they were talking with him. This is one of the early on. I mean, look how much younger everybody looks.
Yeah.
But that's when they were having a little meeting or a little episode there with it was a drilling down episode they were having with Matty Blake. But they went down and he had done all the scanning down below in 10x, and they came up with some of the pictures like this one here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember. Okay.
Yeah. And
I'm
what
so
they thought
excited
was
for
a body
Tuesday.
down there and all that kind of stuff. So pretty interesting. Yeah. Brian Abbott and Nick Burchell, Sonar experts. So we had Brian on the show when they were out there at Poverty Island the first time. But I knew that back then that it warranted going back out. And then of course we got the episode with Rob and with Doug out there. And they got to look around and do some side scan. And then of course they found that one wooden piece down there. And it had, if I remember correctly, it had a piece of iron stuck through it. You would think, well, okay, this isn't going to be able to travel very far. A piece of wood's going to float, and it could have been from anywhere. But this thing had a couple pieces of iron in it, which is going to kind of keep it rather local. Yes, the seas do get pretty rough, and they do blow around. Or not the seas, but Lake Michigan. The lakes.
You can call it. It's safe to call it seas. Okay.
I know it seems that way, right? Even though it's freshwater. But yeah, with that there, I mean, you would think that would have relatively been local. So they did find that piece. Where did that come from? And we just simply don't know the answer to that. And so I thought then that it warranted going back, and we heard that there was going to be another episode. Lo and behold, now there's the episode you guys were on. So we hope to see more, because I think this story does warrant more. I now that the history there, I want to know, is that, first of all, is that the Captain Lawrence, and what is the ship that's underneath it?
Mm-hmm. Even if it's not, it's still a ship that needs to be, you know what I mean?
Identified.
It needs to be explored. Yeah.
So there's a story like, okay, so if it's not the Captain Lawrence, who is this? Like, is there a family we need to find that, we found your family, like that? I like the stories. So I hope it's a Captain Lawrence, but if not, I'm not going to be upset. I'm going to figure out.
Well, then that means get that one figured out and then go find the Captain Lawrence.
Oh yeah. I'm not going to, I will not disappoint Rick and Marty.
Get to the bottom of it. That's for sure. Oh my gosh. And it's so cool that Rick, and that Rick came to you. I love the story you told about how he found you at the beginning. I don't know who all was here then, or if the same people are here then. But he said he Googled you to find an engraver for those things, and you were the only one that called or answered.
Yeah, I was the only, I asked. He said you were the only one that answered. I was like, oh, really? He's like, yeah. And I didn't know. I didn't watch the show. It gets better. So I didn't watch the show. Nothing. And he's so sweet. Like everyone's always like, is he just like that in real life? I'm like, no, he is nicer. Like I swear to God, like hands down, like the nice. So anyways, I'm like, oh, I can do this. I'm like, when do you need it done? He was like, oh, I think he thought I knew who he was. I'm like, no clue. He's like, I don't want you to make any
Just another Youper. Yeah.
I don't want you to make any, special things for me, but if you could have them done, quicker, I'm like, okay. I'm like, who are you? Well, whatever. So then I go home, he sends me an email with the artwork he wants done. I'm like, yeah, sure, cool. I remember what I'm cooking. I'm standing in my messy kitchen, cooking my kids Kraft mac and cheese because I'm solid parenting moment, like, ooh. And it hit me. I'm like, oh my God, my husband and father-in-law are obsessed with that show. And I told, because he's like, I have all the stuff I can, I'm like, yeah, you just got to bring it to me because he's an hour away, I'm like, yeah, just bring it whenever. He's like, I'll be there tomorrow morning. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. So I call my husband and I'm like, look at the email. He's like, no, you're lying. Mm-mm. I'm like, no, I swear to God. He's like, you call. I'm like, he's like, tell him you'll go get it or whatever. And I was like, oh, I already told him he had to bring it to me. He's like, you call him back right now and tell him that we'll go pick it up. I'm like, what?
No.
I was like, I don't have time for this. I'm like, I hate driving. I'm not a good driver. It's like a whole thing. And no, I call him like, Mr. Rick. He's like, yeah. I'm like, and I made up like a thing. I'm like, my husband wants to take me for lunch. And we'll just pick it up.
We're going to drive by your house.
Yeah, we're going to drive here.
And like, I'm like, do you want to just meet me in like a parking lot? Like, he was like, oh, that would, you don't mind? I'm like, I'll pay you for your time. I'm like, no, my husband wants to take me for lunch. And I'm like, you're taking me to lunch.
This is going to cost you, mister.
Yeah. And then, so then on our way there, I call him. I'm like, okay, I'm almost there. He goes, I got a Zoomer meeting. And his, I think it was his sister. She's in the background. She's like, it's Zoom. And he's like, whatever. She's like, can I send my sister to meet you? I'm like, yeah. And I've done his whole family now for like working, but she like his whole fam, they're just so sweet. And she's like, it's Zoom, it's not Zoomer. And I was dying.
So when did Mike actually get to meet him? He didn't get to meet him then that day.
No, but he's over a lot.
Yeah.
Because when I'll call him, I'll be like, oh, I have so and so done. Yep. He'll be like, okay, I'll call you before I come. And then he's like knocking on the door. He's like, I forgot to call. I'm like, oh, it's okay. It's fine.
Uncle Rick now. Just come on in.
Oh yeah. And then it was funny. My son Easton and him are like super tight. And my son Easton started watching the show, and then he realized, and then he saw him in our shop, and then he goes, Mom, are you famous now too? I was like, yep.
Yes, you are. You've been on TV.
And so I told Rick that story, and he was like, oh my God, he was like, I'm not famous. I'm like,
yeah, sorry, Rick.
I'm like,
yeah. There's only about 3 million people who could recognize him on the street. So yeah, he's kind of famous.
He is the most down to earth. Like if he were to be like, I need you to get me $100 million, and I'm like, I'll do it, whatever you need, even though he'd never do it. But like he's the nicest. I want to go to Dr. Pepper and get him what do you call it? When they sponsor you or whatever.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like I want to be like, listen, you guys, you need to have him be your spokesperson. He wouldn't even want money. Like he loves Dr. Pepper.
Apparently, he'd buy the pallet load of.
Yeah, so does
So,
Jeff.
so I've heard.
Mhm.
Can I share it? Can I? There's a picture that I think it's a picture of you and Mike and Rick.
Mhm.
And maybe it's the jeans that you had on that you were hanging over the side. I don't know.
Oh yeah, yep. Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
if you notice, folks,
He's
what's
got
in Rick-
Dr.
what's
Pepper.
in Rick's
He did that
pants
on
right there?
purpose. He goes, I gotta have my Dr. Pepper showing.
And that's one of the things that I got an old empty Dr. Pepper bottle around here that Linda got for me. But I got to tell you, I can't stand Dr. Pepper. That's one soft drink that I just do not like at all. Dr. Pepper. And
I
yet
like
Rick
the
loves it.
sugar-free one,
Oh,
but
do you?
I can't do the sugar one. And then when they
He
were on the
likes
boat,
the real sugar one.
yeah. He's so cute though. He was like, he just pounds them all day. Like, I need Dr. Pepper. I had to I made sure they had coolers too, but I I made sure that I made like homemade salsa. I had snacks
Oh,
like
wow.
home, just because that's how I don't know. That's how Youpers are, you know. Like,
Mhm.
so then I was like, Rick, I got you some Dr. Pepper. And then the producers, they're like, we have Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, we have to have Dr. Pepper for
Oh.
Rick. Probably have to have it. Yeah.
I was like, oh,
Oh,
well,
it's
so do I.
great. Oh, cat. It's great laced with Fireball. Okay. All right.
Love
Yeah.
the key. Oh, so yeah. So Jan said, love the key. Easton sent them. So I take
Yes.
my kids magnet fishing. Have you heard
Oh,
about?
yeah. I've never done
And
it. I've seen
we were
people do
here in Escanaba, and my son pulled up an old key, old antique key, right? And swear to God, he goes, Mom, this has got to be the chest or the key that opens the chest on Oak Island. I know it. I'm like, yep. And I'm like, I'm not going to tell him. So he wrote, and then it was like his prized possession, you know, it was in my glass case with all the other stuff. And then one day he came to me, he goes, Mom, I want to send Uncle Rick, I want to send him my key. I'm like, okay. So he wrote him a note.
That's cute.
Terrible speller. Wrote him in the note and then sent him the key. And then so I texted Matty, and I actually sent all this stuff to Matty.
Mhm.
And then when Matty went for like an update, he surprised it for Rick.
Oh, that's cool. That's
So-
awesome. Yeah, you know, that's funny because we get that from a lot of people that have been on my show and we've talked to, and they have all said, you know, how genuine Rick is and just such a nice guy. And I can't wait to meet him. I'd love to meet him myself. And here I talk about the show all the time. I've never even been to Oak Island. So there you go. But
he always gets not in trouble, but they're like, so whenever we were filming, you know, he'll talk to, like, when people come up and talk to him, he talks to people, he encourages them. I mean, like, and he's genuinely interested in what people have to say. Like, he gives people the time of day. And then like the TV crew and the producers are always like, oh, like sometimes we have to make a little bit extra time because he's so nice. Like, and they don't care. It's
Right.
just funny, you know, because, you know, sometimes other stars, you know, they're like, no,
yeah,
no.
hands off. Don't come
Yeah.
near me. Yeah.
Yeah, but he loves it. He's so kind. Like, I can't get a, like, we just can't say that enough about. And Marty is nice. Like, I met Marty when we did the follow boat too, and he came up, he was like, are you Jess? I was like, yes. Hi, Mr. Marty.
Yes, is that good?
He was like, I was told specifically by my brother I was not allowed to not come up. And then so I stood and talked to Marty for like an hour, and like, just like old friend. And then now I know, you know, talk to Marty more too, but like, just like family.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, it truly is. Wow. Well, we certainly hope that we get more from you and or whoever is going to be out finding the rest of the information about these boats out there that are sunk that Mike has been diving on. We certainly want to get. I need to find out, even if they're not the Captain Lawrence and whatever other ship that is. I want to know what they are. I mean, I think that's so important, like you said earlier, because of the families. Even if it isn't, the families need to know and to find out what that ship is that's underneath it. There's so many shipwrecks around the Great Lakes that are probably just haven't been identified. Yeah, they say,
Right.
"Oh, we lost that ship. That ship was lost. It never made it to home port or wherever it was going."
Yeah, and it's amazing that there's two of them.
Yeah, I know, one on top of the other.
Whether they are what we want them to be or
Right.
not.
Right. It was because we said, like, you know, we're not, if we go and we want to look, if we were just looking for treasure, we're never going to find it. You know what I mean? So I set goals. I'm like, you know, we got to find, the story was one ship went down on top and it was on top of the other. And then, like, holy crap, that was check mark, you know? And then, and then my big thing is, like, I don't even, like, we're not looking for chests, you guys. I'm like, find me a chain. And the big guy, he went and found me a chain, you know, like, so,
Just
you know, like,
ask.
yeah, I'm like, what else am I gonna ask for?
I'll bring up a
So-
chest of gold, or just to
I
add
know.
nameplates, something to identify the ship. That's, I mean, when the wood is rotting away, you got to find something that you can use to
And
identify
that's another thing too. Like,
what's
we
left.
wish
I mean,
they
like a
weren't
bell or
so, like, the state was so. We wish they would be more workable, because it's gonna be gone.
Yep.
Right. I
And then
noticed Kat asked earlier, like, on some ships you'll see a bell, and it'll be engraved with the name.
Right.
Would these ships have been from the era where there might have been an engraved bell, or, you know, how would their name have? How would you know?
So the bell, I don't know, but I know the Captain Lawrence was a repurposed ship, if that makes sense. So it was an old schooner. I wish I had my books.
Yeah, it wasn't originally called the Captain Lawrence.
No, it was the Alice.
Mm-hmm.
And it went down, and they brought it back up, and then and then they retrofitted it with a 40 horsepower engine. So I'm like, that's got to be, like, that won't be like a normal thing,
right?
But so that alone would be able to identify. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, if they can find
But
that.
there's so, it's hard to, you can't even really. I don't, just by looking in the like, from the, if you would, like, pull up the chain picture, like, it's laying on top of a bed of zebra mussels. Like, the zebra mussels are, like, they're thick.
Yeah.
So
I was going to comment on that earlier, but you can see all these, the shells.
yeah, so there's a lot of stuff hidden. And with the, you know, you can't go down, you can't disturb. Can we order Oak Island cup? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they can do the hand wave technically, and
they can do, they can just, like, what do they call it? Waft?
Hand fan. Yeah.
Hand fan. But you can't, like, he can't pick, they can't bring me that chain.
Right.
Without,
yeah. Bring it up. Yeah.
So
bad luck to rename a ship. Yeah, I guess so, huh?
yes, it is. It actually is.
See?
Jess, what's the name of your company?
Yeah.
Blue 6 laser engraving.
Blue 6 laser engraving.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we'll have to put what do you have a website?
I do. But I'm not very good at, like, it's just got, like, a couple random like, I'm not really good at it. So just,
okay. Well, how do people get a hold of you to find something?
Instagram, Facebook, or they can just call or text me my business number.
Okay. We'll put it in the link in the show. Send it over to me, and I'll put it in the description of the show down below, and people can find it there if they want to get a hold of you and order something. Cool.
But yeah, so I have, I guess, yeah, I'm not good at my website. I think if I were good at it, I would not be able to keep up. Because I have in standing order right now, I have like a week to finish 1,500 tumblers. I'm not complaining though, like any means, because it pays the bills, but
It pays the bills. Yep.
1,500 tumblers. Wow, that's amazing.
And then some. And I have a big I don't normally do craft shows because it's not really my I don't know. I'm too ADD for that kind of stuff, but I always do this one. It's the Escanaba baseball one that I'm doing this weekend. So I always sell out. So that's the one I'm doing this weekend. So I have to get ready for craft show and all these tumblers.
That's this coming weekend?
Hey,
Yep, Saturday.
In
he's
Escanaba?
got a day.
Wow.
I know. I'm fine.
No
Wow.
problem.
Well, I should run over there. What day is it? What day is it going on? But
It's
is it all weekend?
Saturday from
Saturday.
9 to 4
Oh,
at
really?
the Escanaba High School.
Okay.
If you're there, come. Make sure I'm in the like the main part. I'm
Okay.
always in this. I'm right
Okay.
by the You'll see
I have
me.
to see
You'll
what's
hear
going
me.
on. Yeah, I have to see what's
You
going
can't
on.
miss the white hair. Oh, come on. You can come up. Come on.
All
baby.
right. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to wrap it up. It's been about over an hour and a half, and we've had a fantastic time.
Sorry,
with you,
I
Jess.
talk a
Oh my
lot.
gosh. No. You've
I
been
like talking to adults because normally I'm either talking to myself or my child.
I remember those days.
Like, baby
you've
shark,
been-
like.
Well, you've been fantastic, and I'm really glad that you were here. And we'll have to just tell Mike that he's secondhand, but he can come on. We'll have to have him on someday.
He's bummed out, but
know.
he definitely would like if you ever want him to come and talk.
I do. Well, we're gonna have to figure some way out to have him come on and talk a little bit about it.
He definitely brings a different perspective. I'm more of like the humor and the research, but he knows things like directions. Like if you were like north, south, all that kind of stuff, I'm just gonna stay there and be like, I don't know.
I'm great if I have a map. Once I can see it on a map and visualize, it on a map, then I'm good to go. I can find my directions out. I don't need the map. I don't need the map there with me anymore after I glance at it. Once I get that orientation in my brain, then I'm good to go. I can just head on there. But yeah, you have that, I got to be careful what I say there. I get myself in trouble with all the ladies and stuff. But anyway, I better just leave that alone and not go. I'm already getting a look.
I had to call one time. I had to
Go
call
down the
911. I had to call 911 one time, and they were I was explaining it to them like very clearly where I was, and they're like, "Are you north or south?" I'm like, "I'm down. I don't know." Like I'm driving down the road, and they're like, "That doesn't help me." I'm like, I'm like, I'm just gonna go, and I hung off like I'm like, I don't know.
Never mind.
I'll handle it myself. I'll do 911 stuff myself.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, you've been fantastic. We really appreciate. I so appreciate you coming on, and I'll
do this anytime. Like anytime.
Oh,
you're
great.
like, hey,
Well,
Jeff,
we have to
I'm
do,
like, okay.
We have to do a follow up. We definitely have to do a follow up and have Mike on. We'll figure it out. We'll figure out how we can do this and get Mike on the show when he working for the sheriff's office. I mean, we never know. His schedule can change in a moment's notice, right? So
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Sometimes I get a little sassy, and then I'm like, oh, never mind. I'm not even mad. It's okay.
Well, I tell you what, he's got a prize in you right there. I can tell already. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
That's what I tell him. I'm like, jackpot, hello. And he's like, please stop talking. I'm like, okay. And then tonight he's like, I'm not gonna be there. And he's like, make sure and he was like making sure I did like
Did he
say
give you a
things
list?
I'm not. Yeah, like I had a list, like you can't make sure they didn't do this yet, so you can't do that. I'm like,
Putting too much pressure
So
on you.
much stress.
And then like I keep getting text messages, and I'm like, oh god, he's like watching, and don't do
Is
that.
he
I'm like,
watching?
no. I don't know. They're not from him, but I'm like worried. Like he's like, stop talking. And he's with all of his guys, so he's probably like, my wife is so embarrassing sometimes. Oh my god.
I bet he doesn't say that.
No,
Oh, he does. Cause
no. Well, you've been fantastic. I can't
Oh,
see
thank you.
anything that
It's
you've
been
done or said
great,
tonight
Jess.
that would be embarrassing to him. I can't under Mike, she's not embarrassing. Okay. She's awesome. You're a lucky man. You really are. All right.
But
Well,
this was fun. Yeah. Anytime you want,
yeah.
and when I'm allowed to, I'll give, I'll spill the deets.
All right. Sounds good.
Awesome.
That'd be great. Yeah, we'd love to hear more about it. So
I
yeah,
have,
we'll
I have lots
work
of
it out.
pictures too. I don't know how to work this. So.
All right. Mike, I'll have to handle that one for you.
Yep.
All right.
Mhm.
Sounds good. All right. Well,
Okay.
thanks again for being on the show tonight. We really appreciate hang out with us for a few minutes here.
Okay.
Thank you, Linda, for co-hosting with me tonight. It's been a
You're very
great
welcome.
time.
This was fun.
Had an awesome time. We really have. And folks, we really appreciate all of you out there tonight watching the show. And again, this will be on YouTube. People can watch it. But again, please click on that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed, and do the notification bell so you know when we do new videos coming out. And also, if you like the content of the show we've done tonight, please give us a thumbs up. That really helps out a lot with the YouTube algorithm so that more people get to see it. The more likes we get, the more it gets out there, that kind of thing. So we really appreciate that. And if you'd like to help support the show, we have our Patreon channel, patreon.com. And of course, there it's jfree906. So thank you very much, folks. Again, we're looking forward. We got the next big show is going to be next Wednesday night, 1 week from tonight, 7:30 Eastern time. Matty Blake will help us kick off season 10 of The Curse of Oak
Isn't
Island.
it Tuesday?
It's the show's on
It is.
Tuesday. We're going to be on Wednesday. Yes. The TV
Oh.
show's on Tuesday night. I talk about it on the next night on Wednesdays.
Oh, I knew that.
With,
Sorry.
every
with Tom
Wednesday-
Burns and
Daddy's gonna
Henry
be here. I'm gonna
Gillette.
text. I'll text him and be like, "Don't mess up." I'm gonna text him right now.
So yeah, so we talk about it every night after on Wednesday nights. We talk about the show that was on Tuesday night. So we do it that way. And this we separated the Beyond Oak Island by a week because of the way
we
it
needed
fell.
time to get a guest.
Yes,
like
and yes,
Jess.
because we get the guests on, like Jess coming on with us tonight. So that's why we did that. But then we're gonna shift other shows to Thursday nights, and we're gonna have the Curse of Oak Island will always be on Wednesday for the rest of the season, right here. So we'll be talking about each and every episode. We'd love to get Rick and Marty on someday, but I don't know. Maybe Jess can put in a good word for me or something. But get Uncle Rick to come on. But I think that
I have to-
Prometheus really ties them up a lot as far
Yeah,
as
they're.
Derek.
yeah, we're not.
Oh yeah, Derek. Oh yeah, I gotta text him still and be like, "Listen, guy."
Yeah, talk to Derek for me.
Yes.
He
I've
was
been
here
doing that
too when
for
we
over a
filmed. He was so
year.
funny.
See, that's the thing. We'd love to have Rick and Marty on someday, but and I'd love to just meet them. I mean, fellow Youper and all, right? So oh well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks folks for being here with us.
You haven't met them yet? Oh,
I have not met
we'll meet you.
All right, that sounds great.
We'll
I
get
would
it.
love
We'll get
to.
it handled.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that. All right, we're gonna call it a night. Thank you very much, folks, and hang out just for just a few minutes. We'll see you
Okay.
Wednesday night, 7:30. Be here for Matty Blake and season 10. Good night now.